Good evening and salutations, my Beyond the Gates fans. Okay, so we'll start off with Bill and Haley. So they're at the office, and I don't remember who said who as far as they want to get something to eat. But, Bill's like, let's go to the country club, I think. Haley got reservations about going there because, let's be honest, she's been being disrespected by the staff every time that she goes there. And it was like, pretty much after that, we're gonna go there. We're not sitting there playing this high school BS of Team Danny or Team Haley. We're not doing that. We're going as adults. Let's go there. So they go there, right? And this guy, this waiter, acts like the biggest asshole to her. And my whole thing is like, Bill handled that better than most people. Because this guy's like, what, 6 foot, 7 foot something? Okay. The energy that Bill was sent there giving initially, like he wanted to break this man's jaw. And I would have been mad at him. But, when Haley orders, he ignores her. So he's like, listen, I'm going to sit there and be old fashioned and order for her. He orders for her. The guy goes away. And Bill's like, oh, see? We gotta do like baby steps or whatever. And I'm kind of just like, I mean, here's the thing, you can sit there and you can raise hell or whatever. You can sit there and say F them. But I'm like, why sit there and have her go to a place where she's going to be constantly disrespected? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. The problem is, and I still think that guy's an asshole, but the problem is, it's very hard to sit there and feel a Monica a sympathy for her, for them. Because, Danny's there, and Danny's sitting there having a meeting, and, I don't know if they do this before or during it, but they're making out and everything like that. They're kind of like trying to throw their relationship in her face. And so I'm like, okay, so now we're just doing some petty BS at this point. And this is one of the things that's I feel like it really starts to hinder the show, and it hinders my interest in the show, is this constant one up ish, or this constant, oh, we gotta sit there and be petty, Danny. Oh, Danny gotta sit there and be petty to Bill and Haley. It's like, really? This is what we're doing? But she's there meeting with some woman named Anna. Now, long story short, Anna fires her from this charity thing. She fires her because of the whole event with the wedding and the whole pew pew thing. So she's like, I don't know, like morality, whatever. Like, it just made their charity look bad. I understood why they fired her, why they decided to let her go, but the issue is that happened a while ago. The fundraiser that Danny made, or that Danny and Chelsea did, raised a lot of money for this fundraiser for this charity, whatever. So pretty much what they wound up doing, they waited till they got as much money out of Danny's effort as possible before they decided to give her the boat, and that was found. Right? And this is something that she calls them out on. But, Anna's like, oh, it is what it is. And, she pretty much kind of leaves. Anita finds out she's pissed off. So she invites Anna over with Vernon. And Anna's sitting there thinking, no, we're going to sit there and do some great things, some great business, whatever. And and Anita just shuts that shit down right then and there. And she pretty much calls her out for the same thing that Danny called her out for. Then she decides to take it a step further, and long story short, we'll put them out of business, still make sure that the kids, the kids foundation or whatever, the children's foundation is funded through their own program. And I didn't know how to feel about that. Because again, I understood how foul it was, the way they went about it. But I'm like, your daughter did sit there and go in a room full of people with a pew pew and just had that thing just fire off and it could have hit or unalived anyone in there. So, I mean, it did bring negative publicity towards our organization. So, I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, part of me is like, I get why she did it. But at the same time, it's like, was it really necessary? I mean, hell, even Anita called Danny's actions out on what she did. Um, After that, pretty much Bill and Haley kind of heard the whole thing, and they pretty much walk over to sit there and rub it in her face. And I'm like, this is some tired ass shit. Like, this is some real tired ass shit that y'all doing, right? Now we'll get to Martin, the control freak. See, Samantha wants to be a model, and while she sits there and talks to Smitty, and Smitty kind of sits there and gives his worries and concerns, he's more willing to sit there and at the very least hear Samantha out. Martin, on the other hand, ain't having any of that, right? So Martin goes to Danny, and Danny gives him an honest conversation. Now, one of the things that Martin and Smitty know is that Chelsea's going to sit there and watch out for Sam. Make sure she doesn't hang out with the wrong people or anything like that. Like, that's family. She got her back, right? And Samantha did sit there and say, listen, I'm going to be going to school and stuff like that, so I'm not ditching my assignments, what I got to do, but I still want to pursue this. So Martin gets all the information from Danny, her experience and the pitfalls or whatever, but also tells him, listen, a good manager's going to sit there and look out for her. And he know who the manager is. But when Martin gets back, he pretty much is just like, yeah, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. So she leaves, she goes upstairs, she's disappointed. And Smitty's like, listen, if you keep Smith telling her no, eventually she's going to rebel. That's exactly what she does. She calls Chelsea and she's like, well, my dad didn't sit there and forbid it, so, I'm in it, whatever. And she's just going to sit there and do it regardless. And granted, she did sit there and say, I'm going to do this regardless if you approve or not. So that's the thing about Martin. Martin is a control freak. And I don't know where this comes from. I don't know if this comes from whatever that would have happened or whatever incident that would have happened that just made him just want to hold on to everything so damn tight. That's clearly nowhere to live, but and I think Nicole is Martin's mother. So I'm kind of just like, did y'all ever bother to sit there and get that man some therapy or anything like that? Like we just not doing that. We like seriously. So that happens. I don't feel like that's about it. Hold on. Yeah, I think that's about it. Now, the thing about the gays is, people wasn't there saying like the show kind of fell off a little bit, like it's not as good as it when it first started, and it just makes me sit there and think, was the show ever really that good, or did people just get caught up in the fact that it was a new show? Because I'm starting to sit there and feel like people just got caught up on the fact that it was a new show. Now, it wasn't a terrible episode. I could have dealt without the whole Bill, Haley, and Danny drama, but it wasn't a terrible episode. It just sometimes makes me wonder, who is this show supposed to be for, right? And also when it comes towards Anita and Vernon, sometimes I just feel like they are just the most boringest. I don't want to sit there and say unimportant characters, but the most boringest characters that really don't do much. And I get that, not every character is going to be front burner or whatever. But it's like whenever they turn to them, I'm kind of just like, and I start just like looking at my phone, looking at my books, looking at my tablet, anything else other than them. Now, I understand that certain characters are meant for certain people, but I just wish they would be involved in something a little bit more interesting than like. I mean, today I guess was kind of an exception because they did sit there and read that woman. But normally with scenes like them, I'm just like, it just makes me wonder, like again, who is their target audience? Because I just feel like people are older than me, people, grandma ages or whatever. I don't know how much they're gonna enjoy the conversations with like Terrell and Samantha when they start using all this Gen Z talk, like, oh, that's, like I think she says something like, oh, your clothes are very drip or whatever, and I'm just like, what does that mean? Like there's so many times in Chelsea and Kat are talking, and I'm just like, and it's real talk to some extent. It's real talk, but like I can appreciate the fact that they use updated language, but then sometimes I just kind of feel like maybe they overdo it a little bit. They overdo it a little bit, and I just find it very difficult. If like my grandmother was sitting there watching it, that she would enjoy those particular conversations. So it just, I don't know. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. Now, of course, if I missed anything, write in the comment section below. Come to the live stream tonight. Usual time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and we'll talk about all the shows. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.